how do you plan to bring more investment and jobs to the city?
We've done some tools that really make Brampton the easiest place to invest and to build if you want to bring good paying jobs. If you look at some of the signature projects, MDA, they have the $1 billion Canada space contract.
Now, property taxes have increased substantially over the last few years, right? Where's this money actually going to, and are these spikes necessary?
We did almost 4 years of freezes when other cities were going up 10% a year. It has not been easy, I tell you that.
There's the growing issue about illegal basements. What is the city doing about that while keeping housing affordable?
Well, we have a problem with some slum landlords in the city.
There's been a lot of crime recently, also a spike of auto theft. What is the city doing to protect its residents?
We went from having the lowest police to population ratio, and now we're catching up to the median average.
Now, I'll talk a little about speeding cameras. Some people say it's unnecessary and it creates a stressful driving environment. What is your take on that?
I don't like some of our driving behaviors. We've seen speeding, we've seen recklessness, we've seen a loss of lives that was preventable.
You had a serious death threat against you and your family recently. How did you process that moment when you got that?
Listen, it wasn't the first time. I'm sure it won't be the last time. But I also have confidence that we've got incredible police in Peel Region. When they tell me not to worry, you'll be safe, I have confidence in their abilities.
We've heard some people say that you worry more about your political career than Brampton itself. What do you have to say on that?
I will.
Hi, I'm Manish Kapoor, tuning in from Canada, and I'm really glad you're here. This is where we sit down with some amazing minds, leaders, creators, and change makers to talk about the things that matter. Every episode is a chance to learn something new, get inspired, or just hear a fresh take. So let's get into it. Today, we have a very special guest, the Mayor of Brampton, Patrick Brown. A dynamic leader, Mayor Brown has been at the forefront of shaping Brampton's growth and future. Under his leadership, the city has seen remarkable progress in areas like infrastructure, community development, sports, and economic investment. Known for his hands-on approach and deep connection with the residents, he continues to champion initiatives that make Brampton a more vibrant, inclusive, and opportunity-driven city. In today's conversation, we'll dive into some of the most pressing topics that affect Brampton residents, from population growth and housing to city planning, the rise in property taxes, growing crime, and the vision for city's future. We'll also get to know the person behind the public office, his motivations, challenges, and what keeps him passionate about serving one of Canada's fastest growing cities. Thanks for watching. Do tell us what your thoughts are about this episode in the comments and what other questions you wish we had asked. Make sure to subscribe and follow the channel. We've got plenty more interesting and meaningful conversations coming your way. All right, Mayor Brown, thank you so much for your time and for doing this with us today. We'll get down to some podcast questions. First question is, you've been a mayor of Brampton since 2018. What is the proudest achievement for you so far?
Well, when I got elected the first time, I promised that we were going to get Brampton back on track. And one of my principal promises is we were going to build a pressure campaign to get our second hospital approved. I have to say, now we have the second hospital construction underway. We got a $2.4 billion project approved from the province. But more than a new hospital, we're also getting a regional cancer center, and we just opened the first new medical school in the GTA in 100 years, just a few weeks ago with TMU. So, in terms of our healthcare goals, we're doing pretty well at achieving them. And so I think when I was there for the ground turning of the new hospital, that was a pretty special day.
Perfect. So how do you plan to bring more investment and jobs to the city in the future?
Well, one area where Brampton is really excelling is in economic development. I don't think there's a city in Canada that has seen the pace of private sector investment. We waived development charges on headquarters, office space. We've created special zones for aerospace. We've done some tools that really make Brampton the easiest place to invest and to build if you want to bring good paying jobs. If you look at some of the signature projects, MDA, they have the $1 billion Canada space contract, and they're doing it in Brampton, a $100 million facility with 750 rocket scientists working there. We made that pitch to them, and we're so elated that they're making those investments in our city. But from Axiom Plastics to the work that Prologis is doing, bringing major new facilities. Lululemon's largest facility in North America is being built in Brampton. Pet Value opened a massive facility. Those are just a few examples. So believe it or not, it's been the pace. It's just been tough to keep up with because we want to make sure there's no red tape. We issue building permits, but ECDEV's one area that's really been red hot in Brampton.
That's great to know. And how do you collaborate with the neighboring municipalities and the provincial governments wherein you keep the interest of Brampton protected and well represented?
Well, we're in regular conversations, whether it's speaking to the government of Canada, whether it's speaking to the province of Ontario. We want to stretch the distance of taxpayer dollars. And so if we can get support for key initiatives, the province is supporting our underground tunnel into the downtown with LRT, as the federal government is as well. There are partners on the province and on the hospital and the med school, and so a lot of the work we do is based on partnerships.
Okay.
So we do have a close working relationship with both the Carney government in Ottawa and the Ford government at Queen's Park.
That's amazing. Now, property taxes have increased substantially over the last few years, right? Where's this money actually going to, and are these spikes necessary?
So when I got elected mayor, we had among the highest taxes in the GTA. Now we have among the lowest. We did almost 4 years of freezes when other cities were going up 10% a year.
Yeah.
And
during the COVID time, it wasn't that much.
and so I've been criticized for keeping taxes artificially low. It has not been easy, I tell you that.
Yeah.
It's been a challenge, but we've done value for money audits. We've found efficiencies. We've had to negotiate pretty aggressively with labor partners.
Okay.
Last year we had a QP strike. You recall there was a big strike in Brampton. One of the reasons for that was I've tried to hold the line on taxpayer expenses. And so when I create the city budget, it's always from the perspective of can a family afford this? How about a senior citizen living on a fixed income? How about a single mom struggling to pay her bills? And so, I always look at everything through that lens. What I would note is there are pressures on cities. And so if you look at collective agreements, first responders tend to be 5% a year increases. Our QPs, 3%, transit's over 4%. And then we have the hospital levy. Okay. So to get our second hospital, the province requires a local share. So we have a 1% levy on the tax bill for the hospital. So when we create our budget, we almost start at 4 or 5%. That's the starting point. This year, I had to get it down to 2.9. We actually had to cut to get it down to 2.9. And it's always a lot of effort.
Yeah.
This year, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to try to get it as low as possible. But some people may not understand that with collective agreements, which are legally, you're a lawyer, you'd understand this. These are legally binding agreements. And with first responders, it's actually arbitration that dictates the amount. The city can't say no. It's based on 3 comparators. And so our starting point is usually 4 or 5%. Just without a single cent of new investment. That's what we start at. That's the base. And so it's being the mayor and having to prepare the budget, that's one of the most significant responsibilities I have.
Okay.
This episode is sponsored by Kapoor Law Firm, your trusted real estate law firm serving all of Ontario. Whether you're buying, selling, or refinancing a home or business, their expert team can guide you through every step. And here's a bonus for our listeners. Subscribers to this show can receive a one-time coupon for their upcoming closing. Visit thekapoorpodcast.com to claim yours.
Perfect. And then there's the growing issue about illegal basements. What is the city doing about that while keeping housing affordable?
Well, we have a problem with some slum landlords in the city. I'd say 99% of landlords are good.
Yeah.
They follow building code, they follow fire code, which are provincial legislation requirements.
Yeah.
But we've had some bad actors. And because of that, we've had a crackdown. We've hired new bylaw officers, and we set up a program called the RRL, which allows us to inspect these illegal units.
Okay.
And so we've been in a process of trying to bring illegal units into compliance. And every quarter, we're probably bringing 100 more units into compliance.
So how does
And
the inspector know that the unit
we
is
get
illegal?
get a ton of complaints.
Oh, I see.
You could see 9 cars in a driveway that is zoned for 2, or garbage, and debris all over the lawn. And so slowly but surely, we're bringing some of these slum landlords into compliance.
Yeah.
I had one person in a WhatsApp group write, the mayor can't force us to meet fire code. The mayor can't force us to meet building code. I'm tired of paying all these tickets under RRL. I'm going to leave the city if he keeps it up. And frankly, someone that doesn't want to keep minimum safety standards, you want to leave our city, go ahead. But in Brampton, we expect there to be apartments to be safe. I don't want to see tenants being taken advantage of living in fire traps. And one thing that I have to say I hate about my job is once a year I'll get a phone call from the fire chief, and he'll tell me about a basement fire fatality. And I say to myself, if we had caught that slum landlord, we could have avoided this.
For sure.
And so we're putting a lot of effort and resources right now into making sure we make sure every lodging location in the city is safe.
Perfect. So there's been a lot of crime recently, also a spike of auto theft. What is the city doing to protect its residents?
Well, public safety is probably the thing I've been most outspoken about. Every level of government has a level of ownership. They have to do well at what is their responsibility. So locally, we set the number of police officers. We finance the police budget. Before I was mayor, we were hiring about 25 new officers a year, and that didn't even keep up with growth. We were essentially having less officers per capita every year. This year, we hired 300 new officers. We've been involved in the largest expansion of Peel Police in Peel Region history. We went from having the lowest police to population ratio, and now we're catching up to the median average. But it's required significant investments. I think Chief Nish Darapia has been a transformational chief, and he's equipping the Peel Police with the tools to do their job and keep us safe. There are provincial responsibilities. They fund the courthouses and the jails, and the courthouses and the jails are at capacity, so we need some help there. And then there's the federal area, and they set the criminal code. They're in charge of the Young Offenders Act, bail reform, and so the criminal code has been critiqued as being a revolving door. The same people get out on bail again and again and again. You mentioned auto theft. We had one person at the courthouse who got arrested for stealing a car, gets brought in, gets let out on bail, and steals a car from the parking lot at the courthouse. And it's why I've gone to Ottawa to meet with the Prime Minister, meet with the Justice Minister, and we've been involved with them right now trying to draft new legislation to fix the broken bail system in the country. And so I say to solve this, to make Canada safe, we all need to step up and do our part. One positive story, though, is you look at auto thefts. That's an area where we've made tremendous progress. Auto thefts are down 50% right now. Why? We put in scanners at the intermodal hub. I went to Ottawa. I pitched our former Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. I said, I need scanners at the rail lines. These are federal jurisdiction. They're putting the cars in these shipping containers, sending them to Port of Montreal, and they're being sent to Turkey, to Africa, to China, all over the world, Dubai. You see Ontario license plates. But that was the route. The police investigated it. We found out how they're doing it. And because it was federal jurisdiction, the police couldn't even go on the intermodal hub. It was CBSA would be only the ones allowed to. So now we set up a system where we've got scanners. And so we'll scan the shipping container. If there's a car in there, we'll set it aside, and we'll have the proper investigations. And I think that is one of the reasons that auto thefts are significantly down. We still need to fix the bail system and other aspects of this.
For sure.
But we're seeing some real progress on that front.
That's great. Now, I'll talk a little about speeding cameras. There's been a lot of talk about that. Some people say it's unnecessary and it creates a stressful driving environment. What is your take on that?
Listen, we have some bad drivers in Brampton. I'm always going to be honest with residents. I don't like some of our driving behaviors. We've seen speeding. We've seen recklessness. We've seen a loss of lives that was preventable. And so I view speeding cameras as a voluntary tax. If you don't want to pay a ticket, don't speed in front of a school. Some people say, oh, well, I don't want to get a ticket for being one over. In Brampton, we set it at 11. So
Okay.
unless you were over 11 over,
I
you're not
see.
getting a ticket.
Okay.
Having said that, the Premier has decided to cancel them.
Yeah.
And so this is provincial legislation that allows them. And so the cameras, unless he changes his mind, will be removed when he presents this legislation. But I do think it was a very effective tool to combat speeding. We've seen speeding reduced by 50%. We've tried speed bumps, we've tried warning signs.
Yeah.
But nothing changes behavior like cameras. You go in front of a school where there's a big sign that says
Yeah.
speeding camera,
Yeah.
everyone slows down.
For sure.
And that's what we want. I know some people have said to me, why does it need to be on at nighttime? 8 of 10 pedestrian deaths we've had happen at nighttime. Some kid is leaving the basketball court or soccer field at sunset. It's much darker, the car can't see the kid leaving the school playground to come home.
Yeah.
That's when the fatalities happen. And so, if anything, it's even more important during those hours where it's more difficult to see.
Okay, perfect.
We are also proud to be sponsored by Kapoor Vastralaya with locations in Mississauga, Ontario, Surrey, British Columbia, and Fremont, California. For the finest selection of ethnic Indian clothing, visit your nearest store and explore their beautiful collection. And just for our subscribers, you can get a one-time discount coupon by visiting thekapoorpodcast.com and filling out the form.
And then you banned fireworks on Diwali. Do you think this ban is going to continue or will it be lifted at a later date?
So, we got a ton of complaints.
Yeah.
A ton of
I
complaints.
saw a lot of videos as well.
Yeah, about
Yeah.
out of control, pets
Yeah.
being injured, roofs being caught on fire. And believe it or not, it was a lot of really the communities that celebrate Diwali that expressed the most complaints. I went onto a street in the east end of Brampton where I thought it was like World War II. There were so many fireworks. And then we saw what happened in Delhi, in India, where they had large Diwali celebrations. They banned fireworks. And so we had some of our councillors say if it worked in Delhi for getting the situation under control, maybe we could try it here. And so we decided to host our own Diwali and have an even bigger fireworks show, but it would be safe. It would be the city run it.
Okay.
We have it at Sesquicentennial Park each year.
Okay.
Last year we had 15,000 people come out to our fireworks display, which was the biggest fireworks display in Canada.
Awesome.
This year we've added a drone show, so we're expecting another great event.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's going to be changed. Other cities are now following Brampton's example.
Great.
Mississauga just announced that they're banning fireworks
Yeah.
as well. And
Yeah,
so
I heard that. Yeah.
I think you're going to see where it's been out of control, the city has to ban them. It's unfortunate that some bad apples that, did it in a dangerous way,
Yeah.
took it away. I think the small family gatherings, there was something special about that, but unfortunately there was too many people that abused it, and having fireworks at 5 a.m. or 4 a.m, kids can't sleep, nurses who are going to the hospital for a morning shift can't sleep, fires, injured pets, it was too much.
Okay, perfect. And then we've heard some people say that you carry or you worry more about your political career than Brampton itself. What do you have to say on that?
Listen, I'm all about Brampton. And at the end of the day, I have almost 900,000 bosses, the people of Brampton.
Yeah.
And I report to them. The first time I got elected, it was by a hair, by 2%. The next time it was by a landslide. And so obviously, there's people that are happy with the work I put into it. I always say there's no shortcuts. You just got to work hard.
Yeah.
And I think what Bramptonians will get with me is that I will put the hours in to do this job, and I think it's a great privilege, a great honor to be able to represent a city that I think is the most vibrant and fascinating in the country.
For sure. And then you had a serious death threat against you and your family recently. How did you process that moment when you got that?
Listen, it wasn't the first time. I'm sure it won't be the last time. I'm outspoken on public safety issues. I'm outspoken on organized transnational crime. I know that because I'm so outspoken on issues that, the police tell me that I could be more of a target. But I also have confidence that we've got incredible police in Peel Region. And when they tell me not to worry, you'll be safe, we're looking out for you, I have confidence in their abilities.
Okay. And then how do you personally handle the scrutiny and the criticism that comes with being the mayor of Brampton?
I welcome it. I think the transparency of public life is part of democracy. And I like the fact that when I go to a grocery store, a hockey rink, a cricket field, that everyone has advice and suggestions. And so there's no monopoly on a good idea. And if someone comes forward to me, wherever I am, I welcome those suggestions.
Perfect. And then one last question is, what is one contribution or effort that you want the residents of Brampton to make so that we can collectively improve the image of the city of Brampton?
Well, I probably have a few.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Don't litter. Keep our parks and streets clean. Drive carefully. Don't give Brampton a reputation that we're reckless. Look out for one another. Having neighbors, look out for neighbors. Having neighbors that talk to each other, having connected communities is so important. Frankly, be active. We're in a society across the world where people just watch TV and play video games. I want to encourage active, healthy living. It's preventative healthcare 101. It's why I'm investing so much in new sporting amenities. I want people to be active. I want them to lead healthy lifestyles. And I guess lastly, I'd say, be proud of Brampton.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of people out there that will criticize Brampton, and some of it is, I think, bigotry. It is there's racial undertones to the memes you see on the internet, mocking particular faiths and community groups. And I think it's important to us as a city, when we see it, call it out. Call it out, because silence is acceptance. And just recently we had an MPP of Sikh faith, Hardeep Grewal, who faced bigotry when he was up in Muskoka, saying, go back home. And I love the fact that we all called it out. Canada, at its foundation, is a country that, its greatness is part of the fact that no matter where you're born, the color of your skin, what God you worship, that anyone can chase their dreams in Canada, that anyone can dream big and achieve those dreams. And so for those that are insular or xenophobic, they do not reflect the greatness of Canada.
Very well said. That's great. This has been great. Thanks for answering all the questions. Any last piece of advice for our listeners?
No, but City Hall is always open, and we have council meetings on Wednesday, regional council on Thursday. Your democracy is set up in Brampton in a fashion that you can pay witness to it whenever you want and participate.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This episode of the Kapoor podcast was proudly sponsored by Kapoor Law Firm and Kapoor Australia. If you are enjoying the show and want a one-time discount code, head over to our website, thekapoorpodcast.com, and fill out the form to receive your subscriber-only discount code. Whether you're looking for legal expertise or premium Indian ethnic wear, our sponsors have you covered. One more request to all of you, please do subscribe to the show and leave a comment to let us know what you think and how we can improve. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.